Hello and welcome to another Hollaroo demo. Here we're going to look at how we deliver dynamic candidate engagement, which means putting the candidate in control, delivering an experience tailored to the candidate and then adapting that experience over time as the situation and what the candidate needs changes. You can think of this as responding to two things: how actively a candidate is looking to move and how will you know and trust the candidate. In this example, we'll look at a passive candidate joining to find out more about your organisation. Then at some point they start actively looking to move, and finally they become a qualified candidate for the organisation and get introduced to the team. So they're on a path from nurturing the relationship to matching to opportunities to getting recruiters involved. And at any point they can switch back into that nurturing experience, which is the key to maintaining interest over a long period of time. Let's start with the open, nurturing relationship. This candidate is interested in the organisation, but is not looking to move at this stage. Maybe the timing's not right, or they haven't found the right opportunity yet. In this case, the experience is built around helping them to understand the organisation, its culture, its processes, things going on, rather than focusing on jobs. It's not compulsory, but the candidate can join groups of interest to tailor the experience. At this stage, we're delivering a very gentle engagement. It's not pestering them or demanding information that is not relevant at this stage. What we'll also send out, typically every month, is a newsletter from the organisation. But again, this is news and updates rather than a huge focus on active opportunities. What we have found is this is a very easy and effective way to build interest and engagement over long periods of time. And then at some point, that person becomes interested in moving. We track this in a number of ways, but the simplest is the candidate telling you themselves. They click on the button within the platform to say, "I'm actively looking," and that then adapts the experience accordingly. What you can see straight away is that now jobs are front and central. At the same time, all the other engagement is much more dynamic and active, whether inside or outside the system. As soon as something interesting gets published, the candidate knows about this. You want this engagement to be as precise as possible, so this is the time to ask the candidate to supply more information so that you can help them find the right role. This is gathered in a very flexible way and covers things like which areas of business or job families they're interested in, types of role, salary requirements, all that sort of thing. You'll also start gathering the information you need to match them to a role, skills and experience in their role, in their profile, uploads of documentation. The important thing is that you ask for this when the time's right, when the candidate wants to get actively involved, and they can see that the more they put in, the better the experience becomes. At this stage, it's a very flexible experience and can be tailored around things like regional recruitment or support for underrepresented candidates, which might be connected with the campaigns you're running. And everything we've shown you so far is entirely self-service and automated. There's no need for any sort of recruitment input or manual intervention, no need to curate newsletters or try to match candidates yourself. All of the engagement is done by the system, automated by the system, adapted by the system, depending on what the candidates tell you they're interested in and what their status is. Now finally, at some point, candidates can get moved into the qualified community. The difference here is that this community is invite only. People only get there when somebody from the organisation has decided that they're a good fit for the organisation, and therefore there's a higher level of trust. That trust might come from an employee referral, maybe from a recruiter engaging with the candidate, or you can plug in some of your assessment tools or other systems, introducing elements of automated evaluation earlier into the process. Basically, there are all sorts of different ways you can take somebody up to the next level. But now you've got much more control over your audience, so you're much more comfortable with letting them access people within the organisation. If we stick with the candidate that we've been looking at, they're actively looking, so most likely the people they'll want to be engaging with are the resourcing team. So back in the system, they can see the people best placed to help them find a role. This can all be tailored to the area of the business that they're interested in. For example, if you've got specialists in particular areas. But the key point is that because this person's now in the qualified community, they get access to people and they can then communicate directly with them. If somebody's a qualified candidate but not actively looking to move, then it's incredibly powerful to give them access to advocates for your organisation. Perhaps you want to challenge perceptions from candidates from underrepresented backgrounds, or if they have a specialist skill, get them in touch with peers within the organisation. The key thing is that in the qualified community, you've got control over your audience, trust in your audience, and therefore you can be much more open with your engagement.